the reason why you feel pleasured when you eat, drink, sleep with your wife is because your brain releases a pleasure hormone called dopamine. And before dopamine release sparks pleasure, dopamine must bind to dopamine receptor. However, there is a normal quantity of dopamine that your brain must be exposed to. But you see, when you go the route of perversion and you start watching pornography, smooching a woman you are not married to, or homosexual display, the level of dopamine that is released in your brain is 10 times higher than the normal. So the brain devised a strategy of killing dopamine receptors to normalize its exposure to pleasure. So the implication of that is that the receptors that are supposed to bind to dopamine to spark pleasure, they are getting destroyed. So he finds it difficult to feel even normal pleasure anymore. So even when he wants to eat, or even when he sleeps with his wife, he's not feeling pleasured anymore. If he does not engage in activities that will bring him to this point, he will start feeling emotionally uncomfortable. The only thing that can bring him out of that discomfort will be pornography and sleeping with prostitutes. Now, what you call konji is that discomfort that comes with not having sex. Why? Because you have trained your brain to be exposed to excess amount of sexual pleasure. So konji in the real context is not the normal sexual attraction. Konji is sexual pleasure. The day God created Adam and Eve, the Bible says they were both naked and not ashamed. They didn't have sex. Throughout the next chapter, when the serpent tempted them, they still did not have sex. It was in chapter 4 that the Bible says Adam knew his wife. Do you know the meaning of that? There was no pressure for sex. They had sex when they wanted. How do you think Jesus coped for 30 years without sex? The Bible says he was tempted in all ways, just as we are, yet without sin. You know why? Jesus was old. Jesus was not overly exposed to pleasure. So if your konji is so strong and you can't hold body, you just want to sleep with anybody, you damaged yourself. You were not created like that. And that's why the Bible says he that commit fornication sinneth against his own body. And the sad part of this is that a time comes that sleeping with one girl, 2 girls will not satisfy you anymore. You will need to increase the dose to 10 before you can feel this thing. Because see, the target now is this. So whatever thing you can do to get you here, you will pay the price to do it. The people that sleep with 3-month-old baby and they get imprisoned, are they mad? How do you look at a baby and the next thing you are having is stupid erection? What is sexy about the body of a baby? Now, they did not start there. They started by sleeping with women. But lust does not get satisfied. The more you try to satisfy it, the next time it will present a higher standard that is more awkward, and you don't feel alright until you get that thing. As I'm describing this pathway, your home may not have gotten this bad, but I'm telling you that this is the end. The Bible says there is a way that seemeth right to man, but the end is what? Destruction. You are on a journey. Because see, wisdom is you knowing the end at the beginning. Know where that road is going to lead you. For many people, because they don't interact with wisdom, they get to discover that the end is destruction after 30 years when their lives are already destroyed. So the journey you are following is a path of no return.